The day of your death was written by an angel before you were born. And when that day arrives, the angel of death will appear before you. While the hands of your family that received you into this world were completely out of your control, the hands that receive you at death are entirely based on your deeds. The day of your death is a day in which you'll feel like you're caught between two realms. Do you have some sort of a feeling as a believer that life is about to come to an end? Some people do get a premonition of their death. In fact, if you look through our tradition, you find multiple dreams of righteous people right before they passed away. None so more beautiful than the dream of Uthman radiallahu ta'ala anhu, who goes to sleep with the intention to fast and sees the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam and Abu Bakr and Omar, may Allah be pleased with them, in his dream. And the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam comforts Uthman radiallahu ta'ala anhu and tells him, "You will break your fast with us tomorrow, O Uthman." You also have the dream of Abdullah ibn Haram, the father of Jabir, may Allah be pleased with them both. And Abdullah ibn Haram wakes up on the day of Uhud and he says to Jabir, "O Jabir, I have a feeling like I'm going to die today. And in fact, I feel like I'm going to be the first one that's going to be killed in Uhud." And indeed, subhanAllah, Abdullah ibn Haram was the first shaheed of the Battle of Uhud. Something very recently, the people of Gaza. Many people don't know that thousands of people in Gaza had a dream before the genocide started, in which they saw themselves passing away. And this has become widely narrated now, and in fact, some of the people of Gaza comfort each other by reminding themselves of that dream that they had, because the end of it is Jannah. Do we have a feeling? Do we see a dream? Sometimes it is just a feeling, like a believer's intuition. اتقوا فراسة المؤمن فإنه ينظر بنور الله. With the believer's intuition, he sees with the light of Allah. And regardless if there's a premonition or not, everyone goes through the stages of death, but some easier than others. And there are good signs of a good ending. If Allah led you in your last days to give charity, to pray, to read Quran, to be of a cheerful spirit, all of this is a sign of a good ending. In one beautiful hadith, the Prophet ﷺ said, إِذَا أَرَادَ اللَّهُ بِعَبْدِهِ خَيْرًا اسْتَعْمَلَهُ. When Allah wills good for His slave, He uses him. So the companion said, Ya Rasulullah, كَيْفَ يَسْتَعْمِلُهُ? How does Allah use him? And the Prophet ﷺ said, يُوَفِّقُهُ لِعَمَلٍ صَالِحٍ قَبْلَ مَوْتِهِ. He gives him the ability to do a good deed right before he dies. In another narration, the Prophet ﷺ said, إِذَا أَرَادَ اللَّهُ بِعَبْدِهِ خَيْرٍ عَسَلَهُ. When Allah wills good for His slave, He sweetens him. And they said, Ya Rasulullah, how does Allah sweeten His slave? And he said, يَفْتَحُ اللَّهُ عَزَّ وَجَلَّ لَهُ عَمَلًا صَالِحًا قَبْلَ مَوْتِهِ ثُمَّ يَقْبِضُهُ عَلَيْهِ. Allah guides him to do a righteous deed right before he dies, and then He takes his soul while he's in that state. The Prophet ﷺ said, whoever says, La ilaha illallah, seeking Allah's pleasure, and this is the last of his deeds, will enter paradise. And whoever gives charity, and this is the last of his deeds, will enter paradise. There are so many stories of the righteous leaving in the state. When Umar ibn Abdul Aziz rahimahullah was dying, he brings his wife Fatima close to him. And she embraces him and he says to her, إِنَّمَا يُوَفَّى الصَّابِرُونَ أَجْرَهُمْ بِغَيْرِ حِسَابٍ. Verily, Allah rewards the patient without measure. And then he asks to be left alone. And so Fatima and the children leave the room of Omar and they start to peek through the crack of the door. And they said that a light entered into the room. And the face of Omar lit up, and he said, "Marhaban bihadihi al-wujuh, laysat biwujuhi insin wala jan." Welcome to these beautiful faces that don't belong to human beings or jinn. And then he kept on reciting, "Tilka ad-daru al-akhirah, naj'aluha lilladhina la yuriduna 'uluwan fil ardi wala fasada, wal 'aqibatu lil muttaqin." This is the home of the hereafter. We grant it to those who sought not tyranny nor corruption on this earth. And a good ending belongs to the pious. Then his wife walks in and she finds him dead with his hand on his face, reclining and staring with a smile as if he's looking at his place in Jannah. جعلك في العالم المتوسط بين ملكه وملكوته ليعلمك جلالة قدرك بين مخلوقاته وأنك جوهرة تنطوي عليك أصداف مكوناته. He placed you in the middle realm between his physical world and his metaphysical world to inform you of the loftiness of your rank among his creatures. You are a gem merely enclosed by the shells of created forms. When you entered into this world, you saw people laughing while you cried. Now it's your turn to leave this world laughing while everyone else cries. It was adhan without salah when you came in, and it's salah without adhan as you leave to indicate that your entire life was as short as the time between adhan and salah. And now Allah is calling you home. Out of the mercy of Allah, He made almost every cause of death a sign of a good death for the believer, even the ones that seem so difficult for us to witness. Uttering the shahada, dying while doing a righteous deed, dying in a fire, or dying by drowning, dying in a plague or dying by stomach disease, dying from a lung disease or being crushed or perhaps dying in a car accident, dying on a Friday, dying defending your life, dying defending your wealth, dying defending your religion, dying during pregnancy, dying during childbirth. All of these are signs of a righteous ending for the believer, as ugly as they can look on the outside. And as ugly as death can be in how it manifests to those of us still stuck in this realm, the beauty is found in where the soul sees itself going. And it's all in the blink of an eye. When you reach the height of life, He told you, وَلَا تَمُدَّنَّ عَيْنَيْكَ إِلَى مَا مَتَّعْنَا بِهِ أَزْوَاجًا مِّنْهُمْ. He told you not to strain your eyes towards what pleasures He's allowed some of them to enjoy. And He told you that it would be said to them one day, لَقَدْ كُنْتَ فِي غَفْلَةٍ مِّنْ هَذَا فَكَشَفْنَا عَنْكَ غِطَاءَكَ فَبَصَرُكَ الْيَوْمَ حَدِيدٌ. That you were totally heedless of this reality, but we removed the veil from you, and today your vision is sharp. With your eyes, you now see angels descending as light approaches, and they sit all the way at the end of your horizon as the angel of death comes near. With your eyes, you see the people you love bidding you farewell. With your eyes, you see the hospital bed sheets turning into a kafan, your shroud of death. With your eyes, you see yourself trapped in a body being carried, and now the soul is to be carried. With your eyes, you see that instead of medicine being injected into your body, the medicine is the ejection of your soul from your body. With your eyes, you see your soul leaving your body, never to return to it again. The moment of death comes, and the soul is removed. Your vision is blurred. The voices from the world become quieter, and a new perception comes that is straight from your soul. Before you even have time to experience the extreme trepidation of leaving this world, the angels descend upon you saying, "Don't be afraid." And before you can grieve your past and the people that are about to become your past, the angels say, "Don't grieve." And before you can even think of where you may be going, وَأَبْشِرُوا بِالْجَنَّةِ الَّتِي كُنْتُمْ تُوعَدُونَ. Glad tidings of paradise, just as you were promised. Your body becomes still. You've lost the ability to move your limbs. Your soul rises through your throat. And just like that, you've moved into another world. What you are returning to is better than what you are leaving behind. And the reward for those who grieve you is even better than when they had you. Inna lillahi wa inna ilayhi raji'un. To Allah we belong, and to Him we all return.
قل لن يصيبنا إلا ما كتب الله لنا هو مولانا وعلى الله فليتوكل المؤمنون.